A sleeve hitch to put on. I've been using this high hitch to move the trailer around and whatnot, but I need a plow to do some snow moving and some driveway grading. Picked up the hitch, sleeve hitch that mounts on my Husqvarna, I don't know, something 48D. And then got some damage to the fan down there. A lot of folks were saying these brackets were real hard to get on, and I can imagine that would be true if you left the wheel on. But these wheels just bolt on and off, so an impact driver, you just zip it off, the wheel comes off. Jack it up first, and then you can just reach in, hold the bolt with your finger, and then again the impact driver just zips that right back on. I didn't even need to put a wrench on the other side of it, just held it with my finger, and that was real quick. So yeah, that's not too bad. I'm gonna put the wheel back on, jack this thing down, do the other side, and then we'll test fit the sleeve hitch and see how that goes. Get the rest of this high hitch off. Alright, so this is what the TS348D looks like with the plates on. They go right back here, and then this thing slides on. I'm gonna go put that on, see what it looks like. And here's what it looks like on. It's not too bad. The bolt's a little awkward, but not too bad. Not something I want to zip on and off all the time, though. Not without some angled attachment, perhaps. Maybe I'll try that next time. I just did it with a socket, because that's about the only thing I could fit in there. Ended up scratching the paint a little bit for doing that. Not a lot of clearance on that bolt. But yeah, there it is. Does seem pretty solid. The only thing I'm a little concerned about are these pins down here. They are they're pinned in, but there's quite a bit of spot. So when you start pulling on them, it's really pulling on the cotter pin instead of the pin. I might have those words mixed up, but yeah, I don't know how well that's going to work. We will find out. Worst case, I will put some washers in there to take up some of that slop, or get shorter pins. I don't know, something. But yeah, that's it. Works pretty well. I haven't used it yet, so it works pretty well as it. This comes down, goes up. The only issue I had is that I made the mistake of putting the handle on before sliding on that bracket. Yeah, that was tough. I ended up cutting it off. Couldn't get it off. So yeah, when you do it, put this guy on first. It slides on from the end, and then you should put the handle on. The instructions are not clear about that, though, you know, a little common sense, had I read them a little bit more thoroughly, would have been prudent. Yeah, very well. Alright, so as sort of promised, I had to show this thing in action. Well, the box scraper / rear blade got delayed while there was snow, so that didn't happen during that endeavor, but we are going to take a go at getting rid of some of these ruts and trying to get the grass out of the driveway.
Oh, wait,
here's the before, and let's see what we can do about making this better. We have a box scraper on the back. I saw on Amazon, well, the cheapest one I could find. It seems like it's pretty heavy. We'll see how well it does. Yeah, not too bad. Let's give it a go. Alright, so here's kind of the first pass back and forth and back and forth. Just kind of one pass everywhere. It does an okay job on the first pass where the gravel's at. It does tear through the grass okay, but it's going to take several passes to get that leveled out. Here's a dip. You can see it's riding over the rut okay. We do see some kind of scrape out and redistribution. We're just going to need quite a few more passes to get this a little bit more level, a little bit fewer ruts. I'm going to go put a block on it. I think a weight might help a little bit. At least that is what that is designed for. So let's give it a go. Here it is after another pass with the weight on it. You can see it did a much better job leveling out the gravel portion. Of course, I get to the end, need to move the cars, but yeah, I get to the end and I have a bucket full of stuff, so I need to worry about moving that. It is getting the grass up, but that's going to take a lot more passes. That's what happens when you don't do this for years. This rut that's real big over here is filling in, but it's going to take several more passes. But the weight helps a lot. Helps a lot. Yeah, and over here where it's mostly gravel, it did a really great job. Yeah, I'm left with a bit of a mess. Not too shabby. Everything seems to hold up okay. Yeah, relatively pleased with it. All right, it's gonna take some practice, but I'm releasing it. If you lift up the back end, back up a little bit, you can dump your load, if you will, in the rivets or divots, and that helps a lot. The weight, it drags this thing right out, right? It is doing a great job. I still have quite a bit of grass to get, but it is getting it. The scraper blade is curved a bit, and then once it bites, it digs in a little bit, so that last inch or so of the blade is under the gravel, and it just pulls it down with the help of the weight there. Pushing on the lever a little bit when you first get started helps it dig in, and then you can feather that lever as you go, which helps even things out. It's a very manual process, and it's going to take a lot. I think I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, there's some more. Well, I took the weight off again, and I went over it a few more times to help even it out. With the weight on, it digs down quite a bit, and that's great, but it doesn't deposit in the low spots quite as well. So yeah, I took the weight off, went over a couple more times, then I just raised it up, drove over it to try to compact it a little. It's, you know, it's better than what it was. There's still quite a few clumps that will come out in time, and I'll do it again in a bit. This was more of an experiment to see how it worked and what happened, how to do it. Once we get I'll have to move the cars out and get the other side of the gate and stuff like that. But the dogs were out earlier, so I didn't want to leave the gate open, and I have a bit of a water issue right now. There's nowhere to put the cars. Can't get them to the other spot, so that is part of the reason why we got this to begin with. There is a driveway project in my future, and we will be, or at least the plan is, to deal with some of that. Take the driveway back to the garage and put a parking pad in the back, so we don't have this problem. And then trench out. We have a bit of a trench to the drain already, but it is not, it's blocked down at the end. It needs to be cleared again. It needs to be cleared like every year, but it's hard to dig in the gravel down there. And I did, but it's, I don't know, a Nortrek trencher coming, so I'm going to leave it to that guy and see what we can do about getting rid of some of this water with that trencher. It does feel a little bit nicer to walk on the driveway. We will see. That's that.